So, last night I saw Jurassic World Dominion, and wow, that was great. It was a great movie. It was, I don't know if it's better than Fallen Kingdom, but I'm sure it was. And if you just want my score, I give it like 8.5, 9 out of 10, maybe 8.5, because there were some things that I think would have been fixed, but yeah. So I'm going to leave it there because this review is going to have a lot of spoilers. So this is your last warning. If you haven't seen the movie, get the hell out of here right now. 3, 2, 1. Somehow Maisie's mother didn't die. Yes, if you've seen it, you'll know that Maisie's mother's actually, her name's Charlotte, and she didn't, well, she did actually die from disease, but she actually made Maisie. She cloned her, by, I don't know how, but then she dies of a sickness, but then Maisie's immune to, I guess, sicknesses, but, that was, a good plot twist, and unlike Ray Palpatine, that they just, made sense for Maisie to have, something. Although that kind of contradicts what Bill said in Falcon, that I guess maybe he was lying, but anyways, just some things that I like, the whole movie was, I was not really fan service at all. Unlike Star Wars sequel trilogy, the new characters seem to have their purpose. They were, they had their purpose. There were two, there were two subplots. There was, the new characters they were rescuing Maisie and Beta after they were kidnapped. Which, speaking of that, they kind of had that overprotective parents trope in the teenage daughter in the first act, but that's over with, and it kind of felt like an overused trope, but it made sense. Maisie's a clone, and everyone wants her dead or kidnapped or something. Unlike in other, normally in the trope where the father is just overprotective of her daughter for zero reason, but on the other side, the original characters are trying to uncover a mystery of the prehistoric locusts, which are a big, I don't say they're MacGuffins. They're more of the plot device that drives the plot, but they're a lot more than that because it's a good idea that Biosyn. So apparently Biosyn has genetically engineered locusts to eat all crops that aren't made by them. So basically, the locusts will eat anything that isn't Biosyn produced. So Biosyn can be in control, which, of course, they're expanding more on the theme of us wanting to be in control of nature or ourselves, and the proper knowledge. And then eventually our characters meet. And then the two subplots are combined into one, and then they save Beta after the Giganotosaurus attack, which apparently there's 2 Giga attacks. We'll get to that soon, but Giganotosaurus, I think it was really cool, but there were some missed opportunities. I think could have had a couple more scenes. Like its first appearance just peacefully sleeping, then we see it. Then later we see Rexy, trying to get a deer carcass at the Therizinosaurus, just backhanded like a Chad. And Rexy tries to eat the deer, but then the Giganotosaurus is there while Kayla and Nolan are watching. I'm surprised they didn't notice them. And then they fight over the carcass, and then the Giganotosaurus just tells Rexy to F off, and then they both walk away, and then next scene is just the scene in the trailer where we see them attacking the main characters. That's where, spoiler alert, I thought Rexy was going to appear, but then the next scene is, before we get to the next scene, that scene was really, bone chilling. You're seeing like I'm just using my Carnotaurus that I got at Disney because, so Maisie's climbing the ladder, and the Giganotosaurus bites the ladder, and she's like right in between the jaws of the Giganotosaurus. She could be dead, which, I guess, is that in reception of Fallen Kingdom? People are complaining about that heroes are never in danger, I guess. And then like Maisie could literally be dead, then but plot armor, she survives, and then Ian Malcolm literally, in a badass mode, he gets out a torch, which is a locust on fire, and he waves it around at the Giga, and the Giga's just tries to distract the Giga, and then he literally throws in the Giga's mouth, and the Giga starts breathing fire like a friggin' dragon, and then eventually they escape, although then the Giga does the thing it does in the trailer, and tries to get them in the observation tower, and then Kayla tries to shoot the Giga with a tranquilizer or something. I don't know what bullet that exactly was, and then Owen, in a badass moment, actually stabs the Giga in the eye and tases it, and also I think Kayla, I don't really remember who exactly tased the Giga in the eye, and then eventually the Giga walks away, which makes it not, which gives it some personality, not just a mindless monster that it will give up if it's overwhelmed. And then the next scene on the Giga is, oh my god, this is such a cool. This is probably, I don't know if this is better than the final battle of Jurassic World, but it's pretty up there. So once our heroes, they rescue Beta, and Wu is somehow, and Wu is a good guy because his plan is he wants to get rid of the locust. So he gets a DNA sample to infect one locust, and then that locust will take out all of the locusts and will infect them, sort of like a zombie apocalypse. I think someone could explain that in the comments if someone's seen it. And so Wu has like a DNA sample where he has like another locust. I think I don't know what was in that bag. I guess it was a locust, and then they all walk out to the main courtyard, which I'm just gonna call. And then there's like a bunch of dinosaurs in there because after the wildfire ensues from the locust being set on fire, or there's like Dreadnoughtus and other dinosaurs in there, and then like there's that like circular fountain, and then we see Rexy like roar into the fountain just like in the logo, and then the characters turn around and there's the Giganotosaurus, and that's the scene where I got a bunch of adrenaline running. Like my heart was literally beating so fast, and like just seeing Rexy, who's been through so much, about to face her arch nemesis, who remind you killed her donor in the prologue, which they didn't have in the movie, unfortunately. And also, unfortunately, the Oviraptor wasn't in the movie. I didn't think I saw the Iguanodon, but anyways, back to the final battle. So there we see two rivals, about to square up, and our heroes are right in between it. They're in between the two apex predators of the Biosyn Sanctuary, which they also talk about how it's not a good idea to have two apex predators in the same ecosystem, which, is more biological than anything. And then Grant says, "This isn't about us," which I guess he's trying to refer to that they have like a score to settle of who's the true apex predator, and then they fight while heroes try to escape, and and of course Rexy gets I think at first got the upper hand, but then she just absolutely gets decimated by the Giga, and then is knocked down, and our heroes are almost crushed by her, but they're separated by like a slab of concrete, and Rexy's just down on the ground, and the Giganosaurus is just like standing up like that, like that, it's the apex predator, but then Kayla gets gets the plane ready, and then they all escape, but then once it starts to rain, then there's a Therizinosaurus, and then the Giganotosaurus and the Therizinosaurus start to attack, and while it's raining, because of course every single Jurassic movie has to have rain, and except for Jurassic World didn't have that. We see Rexy just lying on the ground unconscious, but then the camera pans over to her eye, and the eye like dilates, and the music swells up, and then like the Giganosaurus thing like broke the Therizinosaurus's claw, and then like behind the Giganosaurus is Rexy all standing up, and ready to face her fears, and then the Giganosaurus was like, "Who do I attack?" And then Rexy like, I don't know how the fight actually went, because I did see it, but like when you see a movie, you don't really remember what happened exactly, and then but like what I do remember is that Rexy bites the Giganosaurus, and then the Giganosaurus is killed by the Therizinosaurus stabbing then the Giganosaurus. So Rexy and the Therizinosaurus work together to defeat the Giganotosaurus, and then Giganosaurus goes down, and then Rexy does her iconic pose in front of a lightning strike, which was really cool, and then Rexy does her victory roar with the Therizinosaurus. But I kind of wish that the victory roar was louder. I feel like it could have been like her original roar, but on a deeper pitch or tone. But maybe someone on YouTube could like edit that, or maybe it'll be like a Blu-ray release where they'll do that. Also, the fight scene was a little bit dark, a bit. Maybe the 4K HDR releases will fix that. Like how in Godzilla 2014, the fight scenes were so dark you couldn't see anything. So, yeah, that's just my short review of of Dominion. So, if you're just wondering, that's like an 8.5 out of 10. It was a great movie. I do not understand why it has a 31 on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics are wrong. So that was